you think of the fact that the people who are getting the big crowds right now are AOC and Bernie Sanders? They're going around the country. Thank you, there's that same guy. I call him the always wrong guy. Okay, but I feel like, big crowds, again, the shiny object that the Democrats chase. It's not about the big crowd.
Bill Maher has once again taken aim at Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, offering his latest sharp critique.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun.
The comedian held nothing back, bluntly dismissing the notion of AOC as a legitimate presidential hopeful. In Maher's eyes, she's far too wrapped up in woke politics to effectively lead the Democratic Party. At one point, he even joked that the DNC might be better off backing someone with the sheer confidence and boldness of Donald Trump. And Maher wasn't the only one taking shots. His comments sparked a wave of reactions, with critics lining up to argue that an AOC-led ticket would be a fast track to electoral disaster. Whether you like him or not, Maher has a knack for shaking things up, and this time he's serving a warning the Democrats may not want to brush aside. So if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, get comfortable, and let's dig into the chaos surrounding AOC 2028. Let's kick things off with an older clip to set the stage and add some much-needed context.
Not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
Now, I know this isn't new, and I've already talked it to death, so I won't linger here. I'm bringing up this clip purely to set the stage for what's coming next. Sure, AOC can draw a crowd, and I'll give her that. But as Bill Maher has pointed out, packed rallies don't win elections, ballots do. What matters isn't the noise at the event, it's who actually turns out on Election Day. Just look at Kamala Harris. She had celebrity backing, non-stop media attention, and Hollywood practically cheering her on. The hype was real. The results? Not so much. One of the most forgettable campaigns in recent history. So let's not mistake popularity for electability. As Maher put it, charisma might earn applause, but it won't win Pennsylvania. And he wasn't the only one pushing back. Even voices on the left have taken AOC to task, especially after her claim that Trump is weaponizing the Justice Department. Take a listen.
Democrats are watching their words.
I think it's certainly possible, but I'm not sure. I mean, I cannot think of or point to any individuals who have said that. I do think that there are Democratic members of Congress who are preparing for that possibility.
How do they prepare?
I think they look to the possibility of litigation. I think they're saying, do we have the best teams possible in order to carry out our work?
Some Republican, or many perhaps, will be watching this, listening to this, and thinking, wait a minute, actually, you're the ones who are prosecuting us. You are the guys who are weaponizing the Justice Department. How would you respond to somebody who may be thinking that?
In what way? In what way?
Did you notice that uncomfortable pause, the brief hesitation in AOC's response? It felt like the question caught her completely off guard. Honestly, it surprised me too, especially coming from NPR, which is usually a safe space for Democrats. But credit where it's due, the question was fair. Democrats are quick to accuse Trump of politicizing the Justice Department, yet they often gloss over their own track record of doing the same thing, particularly when it comes to Trump himself. What's interesting here is watching AOC try to navigate that double standard in real time. She's normally smooth with the media, but this clearly threw her. You can practically see the gears turning, pausing, regrouping, searching for the right angle. And if one straightforward question causes that much strain, imagine what happens when the press actually starts pushing back. Let's watch how she tries to talk her way out of this one.
Is the very presence
Putting Trump on trial would be their example, I suppose.
Yes, I mean, here's the deal. In the United States, there is a jury where we are judged by our peers, and he was found guilty in court on 34 felony charges. If people want to say it was weaponized, I mean, it is hard-pressed to say that there's a partisan argument for it.
Now that was pure comedy gold. Seeing the normally quick-witted, media-trained AOC stumble through her response was downright entertaining. She was clearly reaching, scrambling to explain away her party's use of the DOJ as a political tool to block Trump from even running. Her go-to defense? That Trump was tried by a jury of his peers and convicted. Okay, fine. But if that's the benchmark they're proudly standing on, why the sudden outrage now that the spotlight is shifting? Why does the justice system work perfectly when it's aimed at their political enemies, but suddenly become corrupt when it turns inward? The hypocrisy is hard to miss. It's the same tired pattern. One set of rules for everyone else, another for themselves. And the irony is almost laughable. If accountability actually means anything, it should apply universally. But for the left, it only seems to matter when it aligns with their agenda.
Recent dispute, if that's the right word, with Tom Homan, the president's Homeland Security czar, so-called. You held an online forum, a Know Your Rights forum, that he didn't like. What were you doing? What was your goal as you saw it?
My job is to educate and act as a liaison of critical information to my constituents. And I was informing all of my constituents of their constitutional protections, and in particular, their constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure in the United States.
Homan was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally. Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents.
And once again, AOC ends up tangled in her own contradictions. How does she handle it? By doing what she's become known for, deflecting and reframing. She talked her way around the issue without actually answering it. Did you catch the linguistic sleight of hand? She claimed she was merely advising her constituents about their rights. That, however, wasn't the question. The interviewer asked plainly whether she was giving guidance to illegal immigrants. She couldn't say yes without creating a serious problem for herself, so she quietly swapped terms. Constituents imply citizens or legal residents, not the group in question. It was a deliberate pivot. Frankly, it makes you question whether she's really as sharp as the media likes to portray her. This wasn't some brilliant political chess move, it was an obvious dodge. And the funniest part? She seemed to think no one would catch it. We've seen this play before, too. Remember her exchange with Tom Homan about a year ago. Same pattern, same outcome.
Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy.
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Oof, that one had to hurt. Honestly, it's hard to even follow what AOC was trying to argue here. The reasoning is all over the map. The reality is simple. The U.S. cannot, and legally should not, detain a parent and child together in every immigration case. If an illegal immigrant is apprehended with a child, separation is often unavoidable. That's not cruelty, it's how the law and logistics work. But AOC keeps leaning on an emotional storyline, while ignoring how the exact same standard applies to American citizens. If a U.S. citizen gets arrested, say for a DUI, and is separated from their child, no one calls it a human rights violation. It's accepted as part of the legal process. Yet when the individual is an illegal immigrant, it suddenly becomes a moral outrage. That double standard is the point she keeps pushing. And it's why I argue that AOC routinely prioritizes illegal immigrants over law-abiding Americans. This isn't about justice, it's about scoring political points. The logic falls apart, emotion takes over, and the hypocrisy is impossible to miss. Homan, though? He's not fazed at all. He just doubles down.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their...
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Boom, and just like that, AOC backs off, like a deer frozen by headlights. Once Tom Homan turned up the pressure at the hearing, she simply couldn't keep up. This is what happens when staged outrage runs straight into hard reality. Homan didn't yell. He didn't grandstand. He didn't need theatrics. He calmly explained how the law actually works. If someone genuinely seeks asylum, there's a legal process in place. You don't get to bypass it by crossing the border illegally and demanding immunity. But, as usual, AOC tried to reframe the issue as a moral drama, one that conveniently leaves out law, order, and basic fairness. Faced with facts and the realities of border enforcement, she had no real counterargument, just emotional appeals and a quiet exit. That's the difference between posturing and governing. Homan showed up with facts. AOC showed up with feelings. And in the real world, feelings don't win debates. So how does AOC respond when she's on the receiving end of her own tactics? Let's take a look.
You're going to cut this and you're going to clip this so that it's completely out of context. I already said that it was, and y'all are just going to pretend that it wasn't over and over again. It's up, man. You're not helping these people, and you're not helping them.
You refuse to.
You're not helping them.
Wasn't she the one who advised lefties like her to make Republicans feel uncomfortable in public, to get in their faces? Well, honey, call this instant karma.
You refuse to call it a genocide in front of everybody.
I need you to understand that this is not okay.
It's not okay that there's a genocide happening and you're not actively against it.
You're lying.
I'm lying.
You're not.
You went on TV and avoided talking about it.
And that's what it looks like when someone finally has to swallow the very medicine they've been handing out to everyone else. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. As I've said time and again, many of these so-called activists aren't driven by principle, they're driven by hypocrisy, dressed up in slogans and selective outrage. So take their lectures and moral fury with a large grain of salt. If you were wondering why AOC suddenly looked so uneasy, here's why. She flat out refused to call what Hamas did to Israel last year a genocide. Let that sink in for a moment. If the situation were reversed, she'd have jumped to that label instantly. Hashtags ready, media tour scheduled. But when the facts clash with the narrative she's committed to, everything suddenly becomes complex. Suddenly, there's silence. This isn't about truth or justice, it's about politics and performative empathy. The double standard couldn't be clearer, and her moral compass is spinning wildly. That's exactly why her credibility keeps falling apart the moment it faces real scrutiny.
Yes, the modern Democrats, they're the party of neo-Marxists like AOC and Bernie Sanders. They're leading the party right now, leading them straight to the depths of hell.
This isn't just about Republicans either. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too.
We have a message for Mr. Trump. And that is, we will not allow you to move this country into an oligarchy.
Bill Maher hit the nail on the head. An AOC Sanders ticket would be a political disaster for the Democrats. This isn't just questionable strategy, it's completely out of touch with reality. Both AOC and Sanders prioritize optics over results, putting performative theatrics ahead of practical leadership. Sanders talks about dismantling the oligarchy while comfortably operating within a party packed with corporate elites and political insiders. The irony is hard to miss. As for AOC, she lacks the experience, depth, and intellectual foundation needed for any serious role on a national ticket. Her fame is fueled more by viral clips and social media hype than by substance or proven leadership. Promoting figures like AOC and Sanders might thrill the far-left fringe, but it risks alienating the voters Democrats actually need to win. If the party keeps chasing ideological purity and emotional drama, the result won't just be a loss, it could be political self-destruction.